So what we're doing is, let's look at YouTube. Let's extract some samples that we see over YouTube. This is from Top IELTS Test here. So this is an interview with a guy named Faris from Emirati. So, there has been a change in speaking. In speaking, there are linguistic criteria. So, grammatical range is number one. There, accuracy. And then, of course, lexical resource is number two. Okay. And then there are semantic criteria. So, semantic criteria, of course, includes pronunciation and dash response, for all intents and purposes, fluency and coherence. They're the equivalent of task response. So when I say there has been a change in IELTS, there has been a greater emphasis on these two there. So we need to make sure each sentence is grammatically sound. So let's just delete all of this from Anaya. So this is what runs through the examiner's head. Remember, they do not take notes. They just listen, but in their head, this is what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete that, guys. Here. Okay, let's save this as a new document. Faris. What a nice name, Faris. Okay, so wait. We'll save it under band 7. They're speaking, model performances, new folder, band 7. Okay. Then Faris. Emirati. There. Okay. We have that saved. Okay. So this is like looking into the mind of the examiner. Okay.
I don't really know.
Wait.
My name's Faris Ahmadi. You can call me Faris.
Can I see your identification, please,
Sure.
Faris?
You are.
Thank you.
So far, so good. Just one question.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, in part 1 of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. First, do you work or are you a student?
I'm a student.
What are you studying?
I'm studying engineering.
Why did you choose to study this subject?
I don't really know. My parents thought it would be a good thing for me to study, and I did well at mathematics at high school, so I thought it might be interesting. It's okay, I guess.
Have you made many friends on the course?
Yes. Yes, I have. There are some great guys on my course. Sometimes we get together and study after class. So I thought it might be interesting. It's okay, I guess. My parents thought it would be a good thing for me to study, and I did well at mathematics at high school. So I thought it might be interesting.
Okay. Those 3 sentences are already very revealing. So if I were the examiner, I would say, you already threw a range. So thought, and then thought is of course a simple past. It would be this is a speculative modal. I did well, simple past, and I thought it might be interesting. So far so good, guys. Just in that one question, we can already more or less discern. So the rest of it is just, if I were the examiner, the rest of it is just, I'm just gonna ask further questions just to see if these are characteristic. Are these systemic good grammar constructions or are they accidental? Let's see.
It's okay, I guess.
It's okay.
Have you made many friends on the course?
Yes. Yes, I have. There are some great guys on my course. Sometimes we get together and study after class and drink coffee, chat, that kind of thing.
Let's talk about keeping fit and healthy now. What do you do to stay healthy?
Well, I try to chat, that kind of thing.
Look at that.
Let's talk about keeping fit
Wait.
and healthy.
Yes, I have. There are some great guys on my course. Sometimes we get together and study after class and drink coffee, chat, that kind of thing.
Okay. So, drink coffee, chat, that kind of thing. Okay, this is like our equivalent of whatnot, right? So, using that collocation get together, again, that's a very revealing aspect of his grammar. So, get together. So, very encouraging there. As an examiner, like, I like those there. So, if you notice, the examiners focus a lot on the verbs. Okay.
Let's talk about keeping fit and healthy now. What
Keeping fit is a collocation. Let's see.
do you do to stay healthy?
Well, I try to watch my diet. I try to eat healthy foods, fruit, vegetables, but I really love meat too. I think my diet is pretty good.
Do you do any exercise?
Yeah, sure, from time to time.
What kind?
Well, I try to go to the gym once or twice a week, and I like going for walks in the evening when it's a bit cooler.
How active were you when you were a child?
Oh,
There it
very
goes.
active, yes.
Okay. Before we go into that past tense question, so no problem with this one. Simple present, I really love. I think, what about this? This is watch my diet. I think this guy was educated in a Western mode. Those kinds of constructions, guys. It lights up in the examiner. Then going for walks, so nice. There, that collocation. Then everything from time to time. Oh my God, what a nice collocation. There. These are not phrases that beginner students normally say, right? This is a product of quite a lot of practice, yeah, from time to time. In the end, there's the past tense question. Let's see.
I was always playing with my brothers, and I like going for walks in the evening when it's a bit cooler.
How active were you when you were a child?
Oh, very active, yes. I was always playing with my brothers, fighting, wrestling, playing games,
How important is it for children to be active?
Oh, very important. Nowadays kids just play video games all day. They don't get enough exercise, in my opinion. They're just couch potatoes.
Now, let's talk about the weather.
Nice, guys. He has thrown so many already. Wait. You mentioned a couch potato.
How important
Sir,
is it for
but
children
is
to be active?
Go ahead, sorry. So play
is that okay? Because he did not how to say this? He did not address the question. He
Wait, wait.
the question was the importance. I mean, is it important? And then he just said yes. And then the follow up is not connected. It is connected somehow, but it doesn't. It's not congruent to the first statement that he gave. I don't know. Is that
I think we
okay?
can get the context from his reply, right, sir? Like, he just didn't say it, but he more or less he inferred that, we are all very sedentary nowadays.
All right. Okay.
So it was just an inference. We can get the context from the answer. Okay.
But that's okay,
Of
right,
course, it
sir?
would have been better if he had answered like, health is really very important, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's just how he is, sir. He doesn't really talk much. Okay.
Oh, very important. Nowadays kids just play video games all day. They don't get enough exercise, in my opinion. They're just couch potatoes.
Now, let's talk about the weather. What kind of weather do you like best?
Rainy weather, definitely.
Why?
It's really a short answer.
Because it rarely rains in my region, so when it does, everyone is really happy. And it cools down the temperature too.
Have you noticed any changes in the weather recently in your country?
Any changes, like climate change?
Yeah, he was seeking clarification.
I guess it's changed a little. People say it's hotter than it used to be, but I'm not really sure if that's true.
What do you like to do in winter?
So this one, guys, is...
Well, the winter in my country is quite...
people say this is the perfect tense. It has changed a little there. People say it was cooler. Is that what he said? His tensing is really sound. Okay.
Oh, well, I guess it's changed a little. People say it's hotter than it used to be, but I'm not really sure if that's true.
Okay. It is hotter than it used to be. But I'm not really sure if it's true. So everything sound, guys. Present, I'm not, present. And then people say, and then it is, everything sound. It used to be there. Okay. I'm not really sure if it's true.
What do you like to do in winter?
Well, the winter in my country is quite short. It's nice to get outside and go for a walk. You can in winter because it's not so hot.
I think this guy was educated in a British mode. Because, you know, Brits, they use that quite a lot. The winter in my country is quite short. There. Everything in the present tense, guys. There is short. No problem, very clean.
I sometimes go horse riding too. I belong to a club and I go there a bit at weekends. That's really fun.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of part 1.
No problems whatsoever.
Now, Faris, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes.
Part 2 now, guys.
Before you begin, you have 1 minute to think about what you want to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You can make some notes on this paper. Here is your topic. I'd like you to talk about a building that you like.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a present tense. Okay. How I hope you had gotten a past tense prompt. So where the building is, what the building looks like, what the building is used for, why you like it so much. Let's see his adjectives, because this is all about how he would describe a building, particularly the what it looks like part.
All right. Now, remember you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I interrupt you. I'll tell you when the time is up. You can begin now.
Okay. I'm going to tell you about a building I know quite well, and I really like it, actually. Actually, it's in my hometown, Abu Dhabi, and the name of this building is the Capital Gate building. It's quite a new building, only a few years old, but already it has become an important landmark because it's really unusual in its appearance. The first thing you notice is that it leans over to one side. It's like the building in Italy, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Only that building is leaning because it's too old. This one is leaning because it was the architect's design. Actually, it's very strange. It's a skyscraper. It's very modern looking, a really cutting edge design, you know. It doesn't really have any sharp corners. It has lots of curves, and it is all glass on the outside. Okay, moving on to what it's used for. Well, there is a hotel inside, and maybe some apartments too, and I think there are some offices as well, but I'm not exactly sure. Finally, the reason why I like it is, well, I guess it's because it's unique. It's special. Also, I'm interested in architecture, especially modern architecture. And I'm quite fascinated by how the building stays up. I mean, it doesn't fall down. I think it's because the building has a steel frame, and I heard it also has very deep foundations. So, if you visit my city, I'd recommend that you see this building. That's all, actually.
Thank you. Do other people?
That was a done real conditional. If you visit my city, I'd recommend you see this building. Okay. My God, guys, all of those adjectives. Skyscraper, it's cutting edge, it has no sharp corners, it has lots of curves, it's all glass. There. Unusual, good word. It leans over on one side. So nice. Okay. He's good, guys. Well trained. Okay, he looks nervous, but he's doing well. It was the architect's design. There. There is a hotel and there are some offices. So clearly very sound construction of the there. There is a hotel. There are some offices. He loves using adverbs like exactly or quite. Very nice. It's unique. It's special. I'm interested in modern architecture. I'm quite fascinated by how the building stays up. Okay. Subject verb is also solid. No problem. We can just have one part 3 question. That's the end of it, guys. It's time to go home, as I cannot detect any problem. Okay, if you visit my city, or he could have said if you were to visit my city. So this is the modal I would recommend. Oh, quite a vast range, right, guys? Quite a vast range. Yeah, he has thrown a modal, he has thrown the perfect tense, the past tense, the present tense. He has a mix of adverbs, good vocabularies. Okay. Dear, very band 7. Okay. So what would make his score rise further is really now in the aspect of, because this is really solid, the aspect of lexical resource, but I think that's just who he is. He just has simple language, but good control of the tenses. Okay.
Like this building?
Yes, everyone likes it. It's a real landmark of the city now.
Thank you. Can I have the task card and the paper and pencil, please?
Yes, sure.
Get it back.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Here you go. Even just by saying here you go, that's really colloquial.
So we've been talking about a building you like, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. First of all, let's consider traditional and modern buildings. Do you think it's important for the government to preserve traditional buildings, or should the money be spent on essential services, such as hospitals and schools?
That's a tricky question to answer.
Tough one, yeah.
Which one is more important? Well, I'd have to say both. First of all, of course, the government should try to maintain traditional buildings. They are our heritage, and they connect us to a past in a way that looking at a photo in a book cannot. Personally, I don't enjoy looking around old buildings such as castles, but I know in some countries tourists flock to these type of buildings. So I can imagine that many people in those countries want to see them preserved. But on the other hand, we shouldn't be spending so much money on them that we have poor health.
Okay, the crossover was but, very clear. He said but, on the other hand. Okay. All right.
An education service. Educating our. On the other hand, we shouldn't be spending so much money on them that we have poor health and education service. Educating our children and treating sick people has to be a priority too.
And is it possible for a government to fund all of these things?
Can I just check what you mean by fund? Is that pay for?
Yes, pay for. Can a government pay for all of these things?
So nice.
I suppose it depends on the country. My country is fairly wealthy, so yes, I think it can afford public services and money for preservation. But in poorer countries, I can imagine that the majority of people there would want better schools and good hospitals.
Many people like living in modern buildings. Why do you think that is?
Use the wood.
Countries, I can imagine that the majority of people there would want better schools and good hospitals.
Many people like living in modern buildings. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think I'm one of them. Living in a modern home is much easier on the whole, I think. You don't have to worry about what's the word? Fixing them up all the time. Renovating. That's
Oh
it.
my God. So
You
nice.
don't have to renovate new homes. They're in perfect condition. And
I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, but renovating is such an effective technique. Okay.
this probably saves a lot of money. I imagine repairing and maintaining a home is very costly. And another reason, of course, is that modern homes have all the mod cons, modern conveniences. And I think most people these days are looking for ways to save time.
What do you think homes of the future will look like?
Future.
Homes in the future? That's a good question. Let me see. If you mean 10 or 20 years from now, I don't think they will be that different to what we have now. But perhaps 50 years from now, I think it's likely that we'll see some changes. I think cities will get denser than they are now. I mean, there'll be more people living in the same area. To cope with this, I think homes will get smaller and perhaps taller in order to fit more people in. In the major cities in my country, this has already happened. But 50 years from now, I think most cities and towns will be the same. Very dense.
Well, thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
It's time to go to the UK. He looks very UK educated. So this is what we call a cheat. That's a tricky question. And then there's the modal, guys. I would have a simple present. Modal again should try. There. They connect. They connect us to our past. They are our heritage. Nice words. I don't enjoy looking around old buildings much. Did he say much there? Tourists flock. A nice word, flock. Many people want to see them preserved. Their subject verb solid good. But on the other hand, we shouldn't be. Okay. Model. Educating our children and treating sick people has to be a priority. I suppose it depends on the country. My country is fairly wealthy. This kind of construction, guys, he loves adverbs. Yeah, he loves adverbs, and then wealthy is the adjective. He uses adverbs a lot, like fairly, quite, exactly. That's very Brit. That's his training. I think, UAE used to be a British colony, so I think he was educated in the British model. My country is fairly wealthy. It can afford money for preservation. He, but in poor countries, the majority would want their model and better schools and hospitals. I think I am one of them. So there. And then living in a modern home is much easier on the whole. Wow. Okay. That's another adverb, guys. They don't have to worry about they're fixing them up, a collocation, renovating. So nice. Okay. That's another adverb. He loves the adverbs. That's how the Brits are, guys. They love adverbs. My modern homes have all the modern conveniences. Looking for ways to save time. Let me see. And then this is the future question. If you mean 20 years from now, I don't think. Okay, simple future, guys. Simple future. They will be that different. Okay. Perhaps 50 years from now, it is likely there's another adverb. It is likely uh, we will see there. Simple future. Okay. More denser. Oh, that was an error. People living in the same area, smaller and perhaps taller to fit people in. Okay. This has already happened. Perfect tense. Yeah. Very dense. Yeah. Okay. So nice. So simple. Everything simple. So again,
So
grammatical.
Junie, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Well, he did really well. I mean, it's not a 9, but why isn't he an 8? And can we discuss that? Why isn't he an 8?
So the difference we can see, it's like what we always do, right? We always pound on vocabs. But before the vocabs, the grammar has to be good, right, sir? So we always pound on vocabularies. We don't say rich people. We say affluent. We say solvent. We say people born with a silver spoon. These kinds of phrases, sir. Your scores just rocket. You don't say poor people. We say the outcast, the marginalized. Those kinds of words, your scores just rocket upwards. But for Faris, his vocabs are really simpler. Yeah, very simple.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
But the grammar is really solid, good foundation in grammar. There, I just detected one error in towards the end, more denser. They're more denser. That's just about it. I mean, welcome to the UK, Faris. Yeah. Okay. And but very clearly to me, I can like he uses a lot of quite, somewhat, all of those adverbs. It's quite hot today. It's so British there. Uh, it's really the training. You can detect the training. British model. Okay. So guys, again, we are working a lot on lexical resource, but none of that. That's why the ordering is somewhat like that. None of that is really. None of that is gonna make any changes unless you fix the grammar. Okay. And finally, you will notice his pace, right? His rate of speech. Very slow and relaxed. There. Okay. Any questions? Any further questions, guys? You watch him again, guys? Please watch him again. Then learn. Okay. Very sound. Okay. There. Nothing fancy, guys. Just plain and simple basic English. There. See, I just want to fix the Y there. And then I'm gonna send this, guys. Faris. Okay. You know, the way I look at him, he looks like a guy who's from a somewhat a wealthy family, well educated. There. Typical young guy. Engineering. Wow. And then doesn't even know why he wants to take engineering. So from that answer, you can tell that I think his parents have a huge control over his life. Right, guys? Yeah. Doesn't really know why. Okay. All right. I'm stopping the recording.